These are the Barefoot Smugs, sneakers made using good shit, but this time with a barefoot platform. We tried to make the absolute highest quality barefoot sneakers in the entire world. I think we pulled it off. So if you want a pair of these, they drop on April 3rd. So get on the email list link below so you get all the information, the sizing guide, and early access to guarantee you get a pair of these before they launch publicly. So check them out below. I've covered a ton of military footwear on this channel, and we found out through all those videos that in life and death situations, tiny little imperfection in your footwear can get you killed. And not just you killed, it can get hundreds of people, thousands of people killed. And there's been a lot of boots that we've seen that had catastrophic failures that led to mass casualties. But we've not covered one specific military boot that had a hand in saving all of humanity. The Mjolnir armored boots worn by Spartan Master Chief John 117. So we're gonna cut these things in half, run through all of our tests to figure out why these had a hand in saving humanity, why they cost millions of dollars, and how they get so much technology put into a single boot. And go through all the different technologies and features of this boot and really figure out how they fit so many unique features into a single boot. Well, the history of this boot starts all the way back in 2490s with over 800 settled worlds across the Orion arm of the Milky Way galaxy. Humanity's golden age of expansion was coming to an end, and the United Nations Space Command was facing low morale due to piracy and rebellion happening across humanity's outer colonies, which had become pretty unstable and isolated from Earth. So to try to fix that, in 2517, Dr. Catherine Halsey headed up the Spartan 2 project in order to remove rebellion without significant loss of life. The Spartan project abducted 75 mentally and physically gifted children at the age of 6, drafted them into the UNSC, and put them through rigorous training and tons of physical augmentation to make them true super soldiers. But just a short time later, on February 3rd, 2525, the UNSC colony of Harvest detected an unknown object on its long-range radar. Soon after all contact with Harvest was lost, ships were sent to the region to discover that Harvest had been completely destroyed by a new alien group called the Covenant, which sent a pre-translated message saying, "Your destruction is the will of the gods, and we are their instrument." And the force of the Covenant was so powerful and overwhelming that by 2552, many of humanity's inner colonies had been completely destroyed by the Covenant. And the Covenant had launched a surprise attack on the planet of Reach. So in retaliation, a Spartan strike team, the Noble Team, was assembled, and we first saw the impressive use of Spartan armor and their abilities during this conflict. But even though they had this new advanced technology, Reach was completely overran and the Noble Team perished during the invasion. But one Spartan, Master Chief Petty Officer John 117, was able to escape on the ship the Pillar of Autumn. And just a short time later, on September 19th, 2552, Master Chief and the UNSC crash land on a mysterious halo ring and fight both the Covenant and the newly invading flood parasites before destroying the entire ring to prevent it from activating. And his Mjolnir Mark V armor was pivotal in this conflict because it provided energy shield that let him survive the plasma fire, while his boots had magnetic grip to help him navigate the zero-G environments like the Pillar of Autumn wreckage. But after the destruction of the Halo, the Covenant had found Earth and invaded Earth, and on October 20th, 2552, Master Chief defends Earth from that Covenant invasion with the help of his newly upgraded Mjolnir Mark VI armor. With the faster recharge shield making prolonged combat possible, with his boots with increased traction system and upgrades across the entire armor, they went to work fighting the fight. And from November 17th to December 11th, 2552, Master Chief leads humanity and the elites against the Covenant and the Flood. And in a last-ditch effort to save humanity, Master Chief activates the replacement Halo ring, wiping out the parasites, but nearly killing himself and humanity in the process. And because of his armor's built-in biofoam keeping him fighting through all of his injuries, and his boots helping him maintain footing during his escape through the crumbling ford onto Dawn, Master Chief saves humanity in these exact boots. Klumps is on their 5th year of the shoe that started it all, that really popularized wooden shoes and made Klumps a household name. Now they're back with the Klumps 5.0. So this is the 5th iteration of the Klumps, starting with the original Klumps, then the Klumps 2.0 that were the all-terrain Klumps with all the nails you could bend and articulate to get whatever grip you need for whatever terrain. The Klumps 3 were the high-top Klumps with the air units on the inside, and Klumps 4 were the barefoot Klumps that was shearling lined in the footbed and on the strap and had a sewn leather strap. And finally, the Klumps 5.0, the platform Klumps. Just like all the rest of the Klumps, these use the same materials that are slightly improved, like this Douglas fir for the wood. This is a really popular choice for wood because it's really cheap, it's really affordable, it slowly wears down, exposing the grain, giving you more and more natural grip as you wear these in. It smells really good. The only downside is it is prone to slivering, and that's why with these Klumps 5, they went with the full veg tan insole. And these platform Crocs are for more than just style, because you can get a lot of utility out of these, because anywhere you're walking, whether it's in water, whether it's in mud, swamps, in manure, this 4x4 platform is going to elevate you out of that so your feet never get wet, your feet are never going to get exposed to the elements. And if we're being honest, who couldn't use a couple extra inches? And with Klump's slogan of "Where would you wear your wood?" it becomes more and more true every time they release a new pair. From barefoot clumps to platform clumps, now you can wear your wood anywhere you'd actually wear your wood with the Clumps 5.0. So thanks again for Clumps for sponsoring this video. It's the 5th year they've done this, so huge shout out to them. Check them out below, and thanks again to Clumps for sponsoring this video. So what are these boots? Well, the brand is the Military Group, a UNSC affiliated military contractor. The style is the Mjolnir powered assault armor system boots, Mark 6. They weigh a shockingly light 1 pound 12 ounces, and they retail of an estimate between $1 to $2.5 million per pair. These are manufactured in Mars because of the environment and the abilities they have on Mars to actually make something like this. And the way they position this product is actually classified because for obvious reasons. So if you do want a pair of these, check them out via link in my description. You might have to sell everything you've ever owned, but I think by the end of this video, you might be more convinced than you think to get a pair of these. So initially, why do these boots cost so much? Well, because it's more than just a single layer of materials. They have about 6 layers to them. And those 6 layers are first titanium, it's a plating and reinforced ceramic upper. Next is the energy dampening gel and shock absorption layers. Next is that magnetic grip sole that helps you in that 0G environments. It also has an integrated power system and exoskeleton support built into the boot itself, so you don't have to rely on the rest of the armor to power the boots. And my favorite feature is it has environmental sealing and adaptive climate control. So your feet never get sweaty, they're never cold. It's fully integrated, full climate control. So first, with the titanium plating and with ceramic reinforcements, for most armor plating like this, you usually see it from 2 to 5 centimeters thick. And titanium has the unique features of super lightweight, super durable, and nearly impossible to bend. And titanium is a perfect material for this kind of application because titanium is ridiculously light for how strong it is. It's some of the lightest and strongest materials you can get, and that's why it's paired with ceramic, because it has very similar features, but different properties because ceramic is obviously ceramic, whereas titanium is a metal. And so this boot parlays and plays off of the features of both those materials to make this boot what it is. And you can see the difference in the cross hatching and all these different layers overlapping to give it that redundancy to use both those materials in as effective way as possible. And so we want to do the burn test to see how it performed. And as you can see from the test results, ridiculously flame resistant. And that's why ceramic is such a high quality material for this application, because ceramic is used to line kilns. It's some of the most fire and heat resistant material you can use. It was some of the early heat shield material used on spacecraft. So the fact that you have that technology put into a boot that you can actually wear is shocking. We also ran the waterproof test, passed with flying colors. Not a single drop of water got through this. And you can see it's completely seamless. There's no laces, there's no grommets, there's no rivets. It's all self-enclosed, which is vital for this kind of boot, because imagine being out in the vacuum of space and having a tiny little hole in your boot, you're dead. Then if you look at the inside, this is where the climate control mechanism really comes into play. And as you can see, it looks like it's fully lined with this hexagon pattern with some potential climate control relief points through here. There's little divots in here that I assume to help circulate the air and create that vortex that actually provides that climate control effect with as little energy use as possible. So it's cool to use like the laws of physics. Instead of just hammering in climate control, they actually use the simplicity of some of the physics that we know and use to actually make this naturally climate controlled. And another important feature of the climate control aspect of this boot is the ability to absorb your sweat. And so if you look at the inside here, you can see there's a collar that protects your heel, absorbs your sweat, gives you some comfort and helps with the climate control. But more importantly, you've got an insole in here. And this is that BioLite foam. That's like exact same material we talked about in the history where it saved Master Chief from all the explosions. And this outsole combines that biofoam that saved Master Chief from all the impact of mortar shells, of explosions, of plasma bombs, and combines it with the energy dampening gel and shock absorption layers, all in one little insole. It might just look like open cell foam with some cheap fabric on top, but there's more technology packed into this insole than most boots and shoes on the market. We also ran the puncture test on it, and it took 66 tons to puncture through. The highest result we've ever seen in all the tests that we've ever done, which is due to that titanium and ceramic upper that makes it so puncture resistant. You know, you think about it, with the Covenant, you've got to have protection against one of the most penetrating animals of all time, needlers. You know, those needlers will stick in anything, and so you need 66 tons of protection to really protect yourself from any of those Covenant weapons. And underneath of that insole is one of the highest tech aspects of this shoe and one of the most expensive parts of this boot, which is a almost ½ inch thick of that biofoam. That biofoam is some of the most expensive material that man has ever created because it's responsive, it absorbs shocks, it combines all the best attributes of all materials in the squish, in the shock absorption, in the inertia reduction, in sweat absorption, in the ability to take a footprint. It's even self-healing, and the weight of this is so light that it doesn't even register on our scale. Even though, you know, from the outside it looks like like a heavy duty military boot, it's not that heavy. And it's because of this advanced technology. This might just look like a cheap open cell foam, but this is high technology. We estimated for a pair of these, this alone costs $500,000. And maybe the coolest and most unique thing about this boot that we've never seen in any other boots is the magnetic grip soles, because these are supposed to be so strong that they have the ability to grip onto any kind of ferrous material and some non-ferrous materials. Like even brass will stick to it. But we wanted to test to see if that's even true, and I'll just test it on screen. I've got this little caliper here. Will this hold onto this tiny little piece of metal? Does this giant multi-million-dollar boot have enough magnetic strength to just even be magneted to this tiny little piece of metal? Let's find out. See? This is a huge part of the reason why Master Chief has been able to survive through so many cataclysmic events. This, look at that. And that's just a tiny piece of metal. Imagine sticking this to the hull of a ship or to the inside of a ship. And the cool thing is it's not a permanent magnet. Every time you step, it senses as you start to lift up, it releases the magnetism. And right as soon as you're making contact with the ground, the magnets reactivate, sucking you to the ground. So that's everything we can see from the outside. Obviously there's some small details like this high wear traction point, the instep strap with your removable and adjustable anchor points. You've got your collar up here with the shin protection. You've got all these external features that we'll really see on the inside, how they integrate, how they're all put together, how the climate control works, how the titanium, the ceramic overlays work to really give you that articulation, but give you protection, or the waterproof, the airproof, all that stuff. Let's cut these in half and really see, after spending over $1 million to buy a pair of these to show you guys exactly what you're spending your hard-earned money on, we're gonna finally answer what's inside Master Chief's boots. Okay. All right, we got them cut in half, and if you're not subscribed, consider pushing that little subscribe button, because it's how we afford to buy these really expensive footwear to just destroy and cut in half to show you what you're actually spending your hard-earned money on. And it's really, really hard to make up the cost of some of these really high-end boots that, you know, get to that $1 to $2.5 million price range. So anything you can do to help would be hugely beneficial. Little sub, check out our handmade leather goods, check out our other videos. We'll take anything, honestly, because these were so freaking expensive. So now, let's see what's inside. So now that it's cut in half, what's on the inside? Way less than I thought. This is one of the bigger disappointments from anything we've ever cut in half. I was expecting all these internal components overlapping, some cooling and some ventricles, some capacitors on the inside. I don't even see any transistors on the inside of this. There's no wiring, there's nothing on the inside. So unless this is actual nanobot technology, nanofiber and nanomolecule technology, this might be another case of these brands like UNSC building this name of the Spartan boot, the Spartan armor, over wars and decades and thousands, if not millions of lives, just to later produce something that is just a fraction of its former self. There's nothing really on the inside that even resembles the original Spartan boots. It's literally just like 3 layers. This entire upper is one single unit, so you don't have any of that articulation, any of that flexibility. I don't see any evidence of titanium or ceramic on the inside. I'm not even convinced this is biofoam. This might just be cheap open cell foam. Honestly, throughout the entire boot, the whole thing just looks like foam. And so UNSC, you should be embarrassed. This might be the worst case of a brand building one of the most iconic boots of all time, and then using that iconic name and using that goodwill they built with not just people that are buying these for personal use, but for war, to save their lives and the people that matter to them most. And now it's just a fraction of its former self. It's a shell of what it used to be. And UNSC, you should be embarrassed. This is a disgrace to the Spartans. This is a disgrace to everything that this boot has done for humanity. And they're using this to make a quick buck. It's embarrassing. And so is this the boot that saved humanity? Is this a boot that will continue to save humanity? No. This boot is nothing like it used to be. It's a complete wash, complete garbage. Would I recommend buying this? No, do not buy this. Now that we've got it cut in half, you can see that it's literally just a single magnet. Like, it's not a fully integrated magnetic footbed, it's just a simple little magnet. I'm not sure how I didn't see that from the outside, but yeah, this boot's a disgrace. And to me, it kind of taints the whole story of Master Chief and all the Halo rings and the Flood and the Covenant because that Spartan armor was so vital to saving humanity. So finally, is this boot worth that $1 to $2.5 million? I don't think so. I wouldn't spend that much money on this. I think it's at least twice the price it should be, you know, and that's even generous, to be honest. I think this is probably a third of what it should be. So let me know what you think, and if you own a pair of these, let me know your experience in them. Do you have the same problems? Have you looked on the inside to see if it's actually a legitimate Spartan boot or if it's just this piece of crap that just resembles a Spartan boot with none of the substance? Let me know, and thank you guys for all your support. And once again, if you don't mind pushing the subscribe button, checking out our leather goods, anything you can do to help is a huge part of how we're able to afford these multi-million-dollar boots. So thank you guys. Mr. Queef boots. See that? This shit's magnetic.